Hello and welcome to Ice Cream Uploads here on Monday, the 27th of January. I've just realised that the chat isn't up on the screen, so I'm just going to bring that up at the same time. I do apologise for all of you that are listening to on audio podcasts. This isn't the kind of thing that you want to be knocking about with, is it, Luke?
Well, it's Monday morning at the end of the day, you know what I mean? It's an excuse you can use literally 1 in every 5 scoops, but... we still use it, and then we used a Friday as well as an excuse.
It's Friday,
so. And then like every other day of the week is also an excuse.
Well, 2 out of 5 is not that bad then, is it?
Yeah, I think that's pretty decent.
It's a good ratio. 3 out of 5 shows usually pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's an ambition for us really, to make sure that we achieve at least 3 out of 5 decent.
So I have now got the chat up on my screen. I will work towards getting it up on the other screen so me and Luke can both see it. But yes, again, this is Ice Cream Uploads. We go live 5 days a week. Most importantly, in the morning with the scoop, live 10 a.m. This is your daily dose of video game news from around the video game hemisphere. It's all stuff that we think's interesting and we want to let you know about it. If you are in the chat, please feel free to let us know. I can now see it, and I can see that Ads is now in there saying welcome and good morning to the scoop. Good morning to you, mate. Lazar the Greek is now hosting. Thank you very much for that, mate. Very much appreciate it. With the hashtag playing is believing. Good morning to you, mate. So yeah, this goes live 10 a.m. as a video feed live for you on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. Then what happens an hour after the show's finished, it'll go live, or it'll be a VOD on YouTube. You'll be able to catch up there, and then about 2 or 3 o'clock, this beautiful show will be in your lug holes, as Graham calls it, so you can listen to it on any of the podcast services, the major ones anyway, which are, Luke?
Well, they're SoundCloud and they're iTunes, but they're also Spotify and they're also Google Play.
There you go. So as of about 2 or 3 o'clock, you'll be able to get this on demand and listen to it whenever you feel like it. Usually it's on a commute home. That's where I catch all my podcasts. Where do you catch yours, Luke?
Just when I'm playing like a game that doesn't require much sound or something. I play football games with music on or something, and podcasts, you know.
Perfect time to listen to it. There you go. If you don't do that, there's a few examples of how you can listen to this if you aren't listening live. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Luke. How good are you at padding?
Padding? Not very good, but I'm just going to try it anyway. So, right, yes, let me tell you about my weekend, guys, because it was actually quite interesting. There was an event that me and some mates did, and it's by people called Clued App or something like that. And basically, you go to a event at designated time. So for me, we live in Blackpool. Well, I live in Blackpool. This is near Blackpool where we record. And we had to all meet and basically do this detective game using our apps. Imagine Pokemon Go meets Cluedo. So we had to go around like capturing all the different witnesses basically. And then you had to like ask them questions and stuff and find out who done it at the end. And it's highly recommended. Highly recommended.
That's something I was talking about this before I went live, and it is definitely something that I need to try and get a hold of, because Samantha will just shit herself with excitement if we was to do something like that. A real life Cluedo, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's something that you want. I've literally just realised as well as I was doing that, I come back and there's obviously a slight delay on the screen. I've just taken up half of the screen when I was doing that on there. Really didn't know. Ad says, I see a petition to ban Bibby after his comments the other day didn't go through. I'll be filing another to the office soon. Basically, I said that Celtic are shit and Rangers, I bleed blue now.
It's a dangerous thing to do.
It is, but Celtic are shit. Do you know what I mean? So
I prefer not to comment. I don't want any angry Glaswegians sort of egging my house.
Do you know what? They can go. Do you really think they're going to come down to Manchester? I don't even know what a train is.
Ooh.
No, yeah, I'm just starting. Hey, wheeling precision. Get that one.
Just so you guys know, my surname is Burns. I'm with you guys. I am a Scot through and through.
Right. Ice Cream Uploads. That has to be Graham says Paul Clumondu.
Yeah, basically. We'll go with that. That is exactly what it was called.
You know what? We need to do this. Like, just get the ice cream team together and go and find out who can actually... I'll do an escape room or something like that, because I do love a good escape room.
I want to try and find the proper name of it, because I've been guessing. But anyway, leave me to that, because... Don't wait for me.
I'm waiting for you, mate.
It'll be an awkward silence for absolutely ages.
You said that, then Rangers lose to Hearts. You know what? I'm done when it comes to Scottish football. Are Hearts good?
I've no idea.
I mean, there's only like 2 teams in Scotland, isn't there? They have to play each other 4 times. Like,
exactly.
Why?
Yeah. I've no idea like who is third, for instance, at the moment.
You know what? My local Sunday League team has to play each other 4 times, yeah, and that's a Sunday League team. There's like 10 teams in the league. Have to play each other 4 times.
Absolutely.
I'm not comparing them, saying that Celtic and the whole of Scottish football is like playing in Sunday League.
But
Hearts was bottom. Oh God. Okay, I'm sorry. If precision isn't here, sorry, mate. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, United are losing to shit as well. To be fair, so Bibby's pronunciation killed that pun. I'm guessing it was the dough, Pokemon dough.
Oh right. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. I said Pokemon.
Pokemon is what he's probably wanting you to say. Pokemon.
Oh God, this is gonna be. This is going to be one of them ones like my Dixie wrecked, where it's just going to be clipped and then it's going to be all over the gaff. But yeah, I do butcher things most of the time, which is usually why Graham does most of the speaking. However, you come here for news, and that is exactly what we're going to give you. And believe me, this is some juicy stuff that we're going to be giving you this morning. Let's get rid of that. Let's bring this up. Woo! We are in. Ready? Let's go. First one of the day. Yeah, it worked. It works. It always gives me a slight anxiety attack when it's the first one of the week, because I do test stuff, but as soon as you press the live button, you never know what the hell's going to happen.
Exactly.
Anyway, this is a big one. This is what we're leading with today, and it's something that I hope it's true. I really hope it's true, because we need more of these games in our life. We've talked about Silent Hill 1,001 times on this show.
Yeah.
We need more of them. We need this psychedelic kind of horror. But anyway, we'll get to it. This is written on Eurogamer by Vikki Blake, and it states, report, Konami has 2 Silent Hill games in development. You made me so happy. Me and Vikki are both extremely happy this morning. So this broke yesterday, the 26th of January. It is the 27th. Yep, it absolutely is. So Konami is reportedly reviving the Silent Hill series with not 1 but 2 new installments. According to a Twitterer, Aesthetic Games, who has accurately shared Capcom leaks in the past, publisher Konami reached out to developers a couple of years ago, invited to pitch ideas to bring the series back to life once more. One game is thought to be a soft reboot of the franchise, while the other is rumoured to be an episodic adventure similar to Until Dawn. Oh, that would be juicy. That would be juicy. I mean, I don't like the episodic thing. I don't remember. Was Until Dawn episodic?
I have no idea.
I'm sure it was just one game that came out, and fair enough, it may have been done into chapters, but I don't ever remember it being episodic.
I don't know too much about that one.
I finished it. I still don't remember it.
Yeah, I quite liked the fact that the Hitman games were episodic, and everyone was sceptical about them, like a AAA game doing episodic stuff, and I think it worked quite well. But it'd have to be something similar, because the reason that works is because it's one level at a time that you can replay again and again and sort of do in different ways.
Yeah.
I think Silent Hill would have to do something similar to that, really, or be like a story-based game, like a
I don't know how it would work with that kind of thing. I mean, Final Fantasy is meant to be episodic as well, but we'll see. Anyway, in other news, while I'm dropping this stuff, I think I can talk about this. I mentioned there is a couple of new Silent Hill games in the work, Aesthetic Gamer stated. Konami, about 2 years ago, reached out to various developers to pitch ideas for 2 Silent Hill games. One a soft reboot of the franchise, the other an episodic Telltale / Until Dawn style game to go alongside the reboot. I don't know anything more than that though. I sure do hope Konami's given the appropriate budget and found the right developer to make sure that those games succeed. This is just a guess, but I do say that there's a high chance one or both of these titles may be revealed this year. But we'll see. I don't actually know their plans or anything about these games, other than their existence, though I don't know much about the inner workings of Konami. How does... It seems like it's just... I don't know much about them, and I don't know much about the inner workings, but there's a game coming out.
Yeah, I don't know like how he knows this. Like,
it doesn't say where he scraped it from.
Yeah, he doesn't say anything about his sources or whatever, so it's a little bit suspicious.
Horror specialist site Rely on Horror also reports it's heard it's from its own independent source that Silent Hill project is in development. Its own independent. Oh, okay. I mean. I don't understand. We'll get into it in a minute.
Yeah.
Chucky reports that Kojima's working on a new horror game, and the recent news that Silent Hill 2 art director Masaru Ito's now co-member of the new horror project that he hopes won't be cancelled. Silent Hill fans may finally have something to look forward to. It might also explain why Konami's been silent, refiling lapsed Silent Hill trademarks too. While it may be seen prosperous that Konami preposterous, sorry. Jeez, I'll start again. While it may seem preposterous that Konami would work with Kojima again following their public falling out a few years ago, anonymous sources, oh my god, anonymous sources state they have true, anecdotally intimated, is that a word?
Anecdotally no idea.
Anecdotally intimated to me that over the last year or two, the ice has thawed between them, but regardless of whether or not Kojima is leading a new Silent Hill game, it all sounds very good news indeed for horror fans. Amazingly, secret features are still being discovered in the original blah blah blah. We've called this 1,000,001 times. Still stuff being found in old PS2 Silent Hill games. So, a lot of anonymous sources, a lot of sources that are being pulled from various places that no one seems to know about.
A lot of sort of... I mean, I know a lot of people want a new Silent Hill game, or games, as there seems to be insinuating. But it feels like wishful thinking when they're saying this, and also that Kojima might be involved again, all that kind of stuff. It sort of feels like it's just very optimistic. Like, I don't know.
Well, we've seen recently that Kojima does want to make horror games again. I mean, PT probably was his baby. Well, it was his baby. It was something that is still widely regarded as one of the most terrifying experiences in video games when it comes to horror. So it doesn't surprise me that he wants to get back involved with it again. We've seen that he has picked up. He's been rewatching old DVDs, especially a DVD that he said that he couldn't finish because it was too scary, to try and inspire him to make a new one. Him going back to Konami and making a game again, that seems like it's a bit... I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if this whole article was based on the fact of what he did last time with PT, and then he said that he wants to make a horror game. That this article has been claimed from unknown sources where they've just taken little bits of what he said and then said, potentially we could be getting a new Silent Hill game.
Yeah, I know, it's... I don't know. I just think that he could make... Is iconic, obviously, as the Silent Hill franchise is, and I completely understand why people would want another one of them. From Kojima's point of view, I'm sure he could make a very good horror game that wasn't Silent Hill, that was a different IP or whatever. I don't really see why he would feel so strongly the need to go back to Konami, and unless... You know, it really is true that actually they're best buddies again now behind the scenes, but I very much doubt that.
Yeah, I can't see that being the case either.
No. So I'm certainly sceptical about Kojima's involvement in anything, and as for just in general the Silent Hill stuff, it's a bit inconclusive.
Well, yeah, I mean, they don't necessarily... They're claiming that there's going to be two new games. One, a kind of Until Dawn-ish type of game, which for me, like Telltale, Until Dawn is very much Telltale-like in the way that you can move the characters. It's kind of like a point and click.
Right.
And I've just seen... I'm going to go through the comments in a minute, but I literally just did see that Lazar said that I had the butterfly decisions, which there is that, so the gameplay can lead many different ways. You can finish the game 1,000,001 times and have different outcomes, which was great. I can't see this being a thing, if I'm being perfectly honest, and that's coming from a Silent Hill fan, a survival horror fan. I just can't see it. Like, why, if they was going to reboot it, like they said it was going to be a soft reboot of the franchise, does that mean that it's going to be a remastering or a reboot of the original, or they're just going to make a completely new game? Because I mean, we've had HD remasters of Silent Hill 2 and 3. I don't think we've had a HD remaster for the first one.
No, probably not. And it would do well, surely. It would sell
Absolutely,
well.
yeah.
It'd be a no-brainer. I don't know, actually. I'd imagine that it sounds like they would be new games if this were true, but because otherwise I feel like if they were just thinking about remastering or something, they would be less secretive about it.
Oh,
maybe.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, you want to build up. I mean, if they was to go on Twitter today and say Silent Hill remastered,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? That'll pretty much... I don't want to say it'll take over Twitter, but I mean, it'll do some damage on there today.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I don't know. We'll see. It's something that I'm most certainly looking forward to as well. So if that is in the game,
I know you're a Resi fan first and foremost, but I take it you are Silent Hill.
Oh yeah, I love Silent Hill. I mean, Resident Evil and Silent Hill are two completely different games in that respect. They're both survival horror games, but Resident Evil was more along the style of you just need to survive. The zombie's going to be in your way.
Yeah.
Whereas Silent Hill was more psychological, like. Of course there is survival elements in there and there is horror, but it's not necessarily just zombies that you're going to be encountering. There's just going to be things where they are going to fuck with your mind and stuff that. And Silent Hill's famous for one room being like this, and then the whole room comes up and it's turned to ash, and then you've got the rusty walls and all that shit.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. We need more of that. We've talked again 1,000,001 times about how good psychological horror is with things like I love Layers of Fear. If you've never played that game and you are a horror fan, please go and play that. It will fuck with your mind. It's amazing. You've got things like Daymare that have come out recently, which is pretty much based on what Resident Evil 2 and 1 and 3 was like, but in a very modern, over-the-shoulder kind of feel to it. And you've got Vigil that is coming out soon, which is made by the people over at the Residents of Evil team. That looks phenomenal. It's a mixture of both, so it's psychological and survival horror, but it's in a fixed camera angle with tank controls. All these throwbacks, eventually it's going to come to a head where we are going to be back in a world with a lot more survival horror, which is good. Well, I mean, I don't want to say it's good, but it's absolutely fantastic, the fact that more people are going back to the early 90s, early 90s, where these kind of games was being made at a AAA level, which is enjoyable, not these little shitty throwaway ones that you can get like Game Jolt and things like that, where they're just basically trying to rip off all of the good stuff without the storyline behind it. As a good survival horror game has at its core a very good story, not one where you are literally just a person in a city with a zombie in front of you and just go and shoot your way and get to the end.
It's the thing with like zombies is they're just a very easy sort of thing for people who don't have much creativity to just throw away. As like, oh, the enemies will be zombies, and if I don't mean that it's too much of criticism, but it's just like if independent sort of developers or whatever, like I'm making a mobile game or something like that, or just make the enemy zombies they're just an easy thing for if you've got a lot of them, you have to kill them sort of mechanic. But yeah, I agree. Like horror can offer so much more than that, and if you've got the budget and the imagination and all that kind of stuff, you can make something amazing.
They need to write the story first and then build around it. That for me is what a good storytelling experience is. The story first and foremost. Don't concentrate on the combat, the mechanics or anything. Write the story, then build the game around the story. That for me is that is an experience as a single player game. If your game plays really well but is baseless and it's just get from A to B while shooting shit, that's really boring. No one exactly. It's more of a shit. Then that's exactly what unfortunately Resident Evil 6 and potentially a little bit of 5 turned out to be. It was just the story was meh. It's been done before. It wasn't even like zombies anymore. It was just viruses. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Anyway, let's get to some comments because I've seen the chat starting to pop big time. So we've got Ad saying that Graham skiving, standard stuff. Lads are saying I'm a massive survival horror fan. Silent Hill will be juicy. And that's just a combination of comments between Ads and Lazar. Until Dawn was mainly gameplay butterfly decisions. Ad says he had a dream about it. Graham says it's not the first time we've had stories like surfacing on Silent Hill though. There was a big leak from Hugh G. Reaction was that everyone didn't end up being anything but memorable. Again, that's all it is. It's just 2 of one, half a dozen of the other. Let's just throw something at a wheel and see what comes out today. I don't believe it's going to be the case anytime soon. And that's coming from someone who wants one. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I think this we haven't had one for so long now. A PT was 6 years ago, and we haven't had a sniff since.
No.
If there was a time to bring it back, it would be now, and we've heard nothing. So we'll see. Asim, good morning Asim, what's going on pal? Says I don't think much is happening in terms of Silent Hill at Konami at the moment, just let's say educated guess, and there you go, that's going from Mr. Asim Tanvir. As is saying, it's like CM Punk and the Royal Rumble. CM Punk was trending, fans wanted to return, it didn't return. Again, it's exactly the same thing. Lazar says, like take an example of PT a few years back. The playable teaser, like who would have thought he'd be finding its last puzzle picture by pausing the game and then hold zoom, like what? It's amazing that these games have been out for so long and people are still finding stuff within them. That's just the replay, but that's the forward thinking of the guys at the time. I mean, it could be something that's glaringly obvious now that no one's picked up in a long time, and that's again beautiful writing. Asim said, that said, without getting myself sued, this person may not be too far off the mark regarding the stuff he mentioned 2 years ago. Reportedly, don't want to get myself sued. Lazar says, Asim, good to see you, brother. Hey, dude, the chat's all loving each other. That's what we like to see. Graham says, boo! Reread the comment. Okay. It's not the first... I think he's trying to. He's asking me to reread it, which makes me think that he's trying to bait me into clipping something. So do you know what, Graham? I'm not going to fall for it. That's bait.
I see it.
That's bait. I ain't going to fall for that again. Ads plays. Read it. No, I will not read it. I'm not having it. He's trying to bait me. Connor says, "Lols." Right. Okay. I think that's the end of that one. I'm not. You're just trying to bait me. I'm not having it. It may be Monday morning and things may not be working. Do we want him to read it? If he says no, and has the host, I can pretty much I do and say what I want.
I saw the. Yeah, I think you should read it.
I think you should read it.
I'll read it.
Do you want to read it?
Yeah,
I'm not getting. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
I've been clipped saying worse things. It's not the first time we've had stories like this surfacing on Silent Hill, though. There was that big leak from Huge Reaction. Huge Reaction. You know what? I can't even say it like the way he wants me to. Huge Reaction. Reaction. Doesn't really work, does it?
I mean, if Graham was reading it, he'd put a twang in somewhere.
Yeah.
He's just saying, "My God."
That went everywhere, but didn't end up being anything memorable. Huge. No.
It's meant to say huge reaction.
Huge reaction. Yeah, you see, I knew that I knew that erection was in there, but I couldn't get it.
Well,
Huge.
I skimmed over it.
It's like the E in the letter G is where you get the E from.
No, he spelled it out.
Erection.
He spelled it out, but again, I've skimmed over it because I do not want to be clipped.
I don't care. As the intro sequence I wanted to make it painful so people regretted wanting us to read it out.
Well, you know what I mean? There's that famous little gif of Tom Hardy going, "That's bait," and I'm not being that guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, precisely.
Anyway, as this is a news show, we've got the chat trying to bait us into stuff. I mean, you can get involved in this if you want. If you want to start watching this live, you can try and get baited as well as we do. 10 a.m. ice cream uploads every single weekday.
It's a good time to do it, to be fair.
Anyway, this is something that I've never played before. Have you played this before?
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of this.
Okay, well this is definitely something that you're going to be reading in about 2 seconds then. Are you ready, chat?
Let me unlock me thing. Right. EA is reportedly working on a Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic reboot. This is on Eurogamer by Vikki Blake. Is it Vikki Blake did last one as well?
He did. The two-timer, some might say.
Nice. The game will allegedly integrate elements from the first 2 games. Electronic Arts' fan favourite Star Wars RPG series. Hang on, I've just got to stop straight away here. EA, okay, they bought out BioWare, but it was very much just BioWare back then. It wasn't an EA game, I'm sure. Anyway, it is EA now. EA's fan favourite Star Wars RPG series, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, is reportedly getting a reboot. According to a new report from Cinelix, thanks Games Radar Plus, 2 individual sources familiar with Disney's plan have each confirmed a Knights of the Old Republic game is in the works. But there's some disagreement on whether it will be a simple reboot or a sequel of sorts. Either way, it's thought the game will integrate elements from the first 2 games in order to bring certain things into the current Star Wars canon. While rumours of KOTOR reboot are floated fairly often, the source site, Cinelex, or whatever it's called, did accurately leak news of an upcoming Obi-Wan TV show last year, which makes the rumour all the more plausible. It's unclear whether the reboot is in the hands of original developer BioWare, or if it's been passed to another studio in the EA family, but as always, we'll keep you posted as when we find out more, perhaps at E3 2020, What was more? Back in May 2019, it was reported a film based on Knights of the Republic was in the works. At Star Wars Celebration in April 2019, Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy said, "Yes, we are developing something to look at." And that was it. After being asked about KOTOR, "Right now, I have no idea where things might fall." We also recently learned that one of the best Star Wars video game characters ever, Revan, is now canon again. Okay.
So, as a person that's familiar with this series, what do you make of this news?
I'd be proper excited if there was another one, because this is like one of the best RPGs I've ever played. Knights of the Old Republic, and Knights of the Republic 2 is really good as well. It's probably about, well, put it this way, I think it was what BioWare did before Mass Effect, so it's quite old now. But yeah, I'd be stoked to play it. Like if it was just a remaster, I would play it. I actually watched I can't remember his name now, one a pretty big sort of Twitch streamer recently play through it, and so it's a bit weird that this has come up in the news actually. But I was feeling proper nostalgic about it and wanting to play it again, so this is coming at the right time. I wonder whether they've made him like play it because they want to get it back in people's consciousness again, but that's just speculation.
Well, it says that the game first came out in 2003, and its latest release, which I'm guessing, is it an MMO?
Yeah, there is a game just called The Old Republic, which is an MMO.
Ah, right, okay, yeah, because it said that the latest release was Onslaught on October 22nd, 2019, which makes me think that it's still... That's what makes me think that it's an MMO.
Pack. Yeah, well, this is... Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Republic 2 are just like RPGs, just like solo games. And then they released like The Old Republic, which was it was like an MMO. And I did play it for a little while. It was pretty decent, but everyone was just like running around as Jedi and Sith, and I didn't really like that. It felt a bit... like the Star Wars universe isn't supposed to have loads of these Jedi and Sith just running around, in my opinion. Like, it needs to be a bit...
I think you should calm down on it, mate.
They need to feel more special, you know.
Well, I'm gonna have a look on Steam now at how much this game actually is, because I did, after I read this story, I had a look at some gameplay of it because I've never seen it before. And I played a lot of Star Wars games. Is this just did it only come out for PC?
It definitely originally came out for PC. I wouldn't be surprised if it came out for like Xbox or something. You know.
Yeah, because I never played it on that. But oh my god, it's £2.51.
Everyone's got to pick it up and play it for that.
It's £2.51. So what I'm going to do is that what it looks like? That looks good. It looks a bit compared to what I was watching on YouTube before.
I mean, you know, it was nearly 16, 17-year-old. I don't remember it looking that bad when I watched it being streamed, but then again, oh yeah, it doesn't look like that blurry or anything.
Oh. I will come to the comments in a second. I just want to be able to. I want to be able to get this up so you can see it. We're knob joke. I tell you what, it'd just be easier for me to just go on YouTube or something, won't it? I imagine, because this just isn't playing.
I'll read the comments in the meantime. Next Gen Renegade. I hope they base it around Sith Mathingus. I'm not familiar with that one. Surely it's Knights of the New Republic now, says Graham. Yeah, true. Surely by now. Or Knights of the Very Old Republic.
Do you know what, mate? The Sith Mathingus or whatever he's trying to say, that again looks like bait.
It probably is.
Although, there you go. That looks.
There are some very interesting sounding Sith.
Okay, so I've got it up on the screen. Wait. So those of you that aren't familiar with the Old Republic, let's have a look at it together.
Woo. Yeah, the Old Republic, by the way, is set like 4,000 years before any of like the Darth Vader film stuff. So it's like completely in its own storyline.
So the middle thing doesn't work anymore. Good times. Right, we'll just stay there. Is the camera working? Yeah, the camera's still working. There you go.
It's very like story driven, and you can basically make decisions that will put you more to the light side or more to the dark side. So
okay.
It's a lot to do with that.
Is it turn based?
Kind of. What was that game you were talking about? Was it the original Witcher?
Yeah.
Actually, it's not like that in terms of top down, but it's like that in terms of you press spacebar to like pause it and choose like moves.
Okay.
But the combat isn't a super major part of it. You'll be getting, you'll be having your fair share of combat, but a lot of it is just more like talking to the characters and achieving missions and stuff like that. And Asim says, KOTOR is a classic, BioWare at their best. I completely agree with that one. Adsplay says, looks like a Lego game. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty old game now, so we've got to be a bit kind to it. But there is a second one as well that I think was made by... I don't know, I think it was still officially under the BioWare brand, but I think it was made by a different development studio. And people say it wasn't quite as good. I kind of agree, but it was still pretty amazing, to be fair.
I don't know why that happened. Then the stream deck just decided to stop working. I think a pop-up came up on the screen over there or something.
Probably.
Annoyingly. But yeah, for £2.51, I'm probably going to pick this up, if I'm being honest, because after watching the gameplay, that I've seen before, it made me want to play it. Like, I need more Star Wars in my life at this point.
Yeah, it's worth it. I think it is anyway.
They are. I tell you what, you've got far too much sleep this weekend, you two, and that's Graham and Craig. Far too much sleep, but you ain't gonna catch us out, are they, mate?
No.
They ain't gonna catch us out. So anyway, we've only got 4 stories today. Because it's Monday and it seems like no one wants to release any video game news over the weekend, which is always annoying when you're trying to scrape stuff. Hence why this is something that came out on Friday, but we're actually going to present it to you today.
I think we're allowed. The good people on the internet will forgive us.
Absolutely. I hope so anyway. This is for anyone who's a big Fortnite fan and you want to find out more about Season 2, Chapter 2. Boom! Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 2 release date set following a delay. This has been written by Chris Pereira over on the GameSpot website. Let me just mute this, because GameSpot likes to play videos as soon as you go to the website. The first season of Fortnite Chapter 2 has been expected to already come to a close, but Epic opted to extend Season 1 into February. We know that the new season will start, and as Epic has confirmed, the release date for Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 2 is coming on Thursday, February 20th. This date is potentially subject to change, as Epic states when its Season 2 is expected to begin. So we all know what to expect in terms of season-ending events come to comets or rockets of the past. Well, that was a mouthy sentence. Epic shared the news in a post on Fortnite's website offering a very vague, redacted teaser. It states Season 2 will feature redacted what? Multiple redacted. Oh, okay. So when they originally published this, it stated something, and they've now since had to change it. Okay. That's interesting.
That is very interesting.
Ooh.
Oh, why did we not see that earlier?
No, I mean this is stuff that we want to be able to talk about this stuff on the fly. So clearly, it's gone live over the weekend.
Yeah.
For Epic, I've got in touch with these guys and said, "Listen, you're talking shit, mate. Turn it off. Get it off there."
I'd like to know what they said.
So I'll just reread it again. This isn't me blue screening. Season 2 will feature, in brackets, redacted with multiple redacted. So fill in the blanks yourself. We can't brief you on all the next season secrets just yet.
He does say like offering a very vague redacted teaser at the start though. Is that like literally what it says?
I think they've been told what it is. I mean, they've either written it and been told to take it out, or they know something that we don't and they're just trying to get teasers in there, so we think that they know what they're talking about, but they're just not allowed to share it with us yet.
Yeah. Maybe.
So it's one of the two ways, I'm not too sure. The studio also announced that it's introduced new overtime challenges in the meantime, as well as two 2-week events to keep players occupied in the waning days of Season 1. No details were shared yet, but those will be coming soon. Beyond when to expect Season 2, the new Season 1 content Epic also shared is the 11.50 update is set to be released in early February. A major component of this patch will involve a move to the Unreal Engine's Chaos Physics engine. Ooh, that's interesting. Although it seems that it will be tested in a limited fashion initially. At launch, the goal is to ensure that Fortnite still feels like Fortnite, Epic explained. Along the way, there will also be some bumps, so we're starting to test with small groups of players. We'll also closely monitor feedback and make improvements over time. Now, there is something else that potentially I should have included in this one, but I didn't. Blame me for that, if you will. But apparently, Birds of Prey is going to be featured in-game as a live event. So Birds of Prey is the sequel, I'll say in air quotes, to the Suicide Squad. So Harley Quinn's spin-off story played by Margot Robbie. So potentially it's going to be featured in basically the Birds of Fortnite tweeted out saying "see you soon," and then Birds of Prey Warner Brothers Studio has sent a winky emoji back to the Fortnite team.
Okay.
Everyone's kind of claimed that they are going to be a live event inside there. Yeah. So expect to see a lot of Harley Quinns running about.
I can well imagine. I feel like we got, like how Fortnite used to do sort of rip-off characters. Yeah. Like you do your John Wick rip-off character or whatever. I'm pretty sure there was like a Harley Quinn rip-off character. I might be wrong there. But so anyway, there'll be obviously legit ones this time around. So yeah, we expect to see the Birds of Prey stuff sometime soon. I've just pressed game frame again. Boo. So yeah, more Fortnite soon. I pretty much finished the Battle Pass last time. It was only the overtime ones that I've got to finish off. I know Graham did finish them ones.
The overtime, the stretch goals, I'm never going to be able to do. It's like kill 100,000 people. Nah, mate, I ain't going to do that. I basically played for the battle pass.
Yeah.
So I will be getting the battle pass again, and I'll play for the battle pass. The overtime ones didn't interest me that much. I just wanted to get the main stuff.
So, obviously, you came back to Fortnite for the lightsabers.
For the lightsabers, yeah.
But you stay for the great content and gameplay. You're not going to give up on it now that...
Well, the Star Wars stuff seemed to finish just as I was finishing the Battle Pass as well, which was beautiful timing on my part. It's a shame that they aren't still in there. I would have loved to be able to pick up a lightsaber as a pickaxe. I don't understand why they didn't offer you that.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Rather than just having them as a legendary weapon in the game. Who knows? They may bring it back at some point. I doubt it because the licensing would have expired now. But who am I to tell Epic what to do? They seem to be absolutely killing it. The Star Wars live event that they did, where they were showcasing the film before it came out, with like Jeff Keighley running out, and who was the other guy? They had the Stormtrooper like dancing on the stage. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it was brilliant. I don't know what they're going to do for the next one, so we'll have to see.
I'm sure it'll feature lots of Harley Quinn's. Is it? She has a big hammer, doesn't she? I think.
Baseball bat.
Is it baseball? Oh right, yeah, baseball. Well, it'll be them then. It'll be like the axe.
Fandom's in the chat. Team no sleep. EA, geez, it's already doomed. How far have I gone back up here? Oh yeah, okay. Let's keep soon down. Morning anyway, Phantom. How you doing? You've read that, haven't you? That's the old classic Bioware at their best. Here we go. Ice cream uploads. If you need more Star Wars, I'll lend you. Oh, for God's sake! Oh, is that a real thing? That's
Star Wars
Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah, okay. I thought you were trying to bait me again then. I'll lend you Star Wars for... Yeah, please. I will absolutely love to play that. Craig says new season is coming Thursday with 4 skins. Interesting. I read it. They purposely redacted. Okay. Thank you for claiming that one up, Graham. I read it as purposely done it. Yep, Epic Games, blah, blah, blah. Redacted. Ads is just confirming that. Yes, I very much appreciate that. I thought they've released something and they've been told to take it out.
Take it down. That was my initial thought as well, but then I was like, they mentioned this called it like a redacted teaser, which is a bit
interesting. They just want to be in the know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want to be an ITK account. Oh, for fuck's sake! I've just realised!
Wait!
Oh, you got me!
Get that clipped.
Oh, you got me! You set of bastards! Oh.
Well done, Craig.
I'm not having it. You know what? Craig, you're doing next week's show. Oh, right, okay, so we've got one more news story left. I thought I'd get away with not being played. I played myself. Do you know what I mean?
If you try and resist it, they're just going to try harder. You know that.
See, I just mentioned something there, mate, and you didn't even see it.
Oh, did you not? I'm sorry.
No, you know what I mean. I just said it. I played myself.
Ah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm working with amateurs here, including myself. Right. So, last piece. Do you want to read this one, mate?
I will read it.
It's a biggie. It is.
Oh,
a
good.
biggie.
Thanks. This is from gamesindustry.biz, which automatically sounds like I'm reading the equivalent of the Financial Times or something of video games. This is by Brendan Sinclair. Activision, Blizzard and Google sign esports cloud deals. Why is there a comma there? Esports cloud deals. Okay. Overwatch League and others will air exclusively on YouTube, and Google Cloud become preferred cloud service for game hosting. So Activision, Blizzard and Google today announced a multi-year strategic partnership covering esports broadcasts and cloud services. Under the agreement, Google-owned YouTube will be the worldwide exclusive streaming provider, outside China, for live coverage of the publisher's entire range of esports competitions. That includes the inaugural Call of Duty League, which begins today.
That was Friday.
Okay, well, there we are. And the 3rd season of Overwatch League, which starts February the 8th. It also covers Hearthstone and World of Warcraft esports competitions. As for the other parts of the agreement, Google Cloud will be Activision Blizzard's preferred cloud service provider. We've worked closely with Activision Blizzard for the past few years across mobile titles to boost its analytical capabilities and overall player experience, said Google Cloud Head of Gaming Sunil Rayan? I don't know, I'm sorry. We are excited to now expand our relationship and help power one of the largest and most renowned game developers in the world. The deal may be seen as a blow to Amazon on both fronts. Amazon owns Twitch, the streaming video service that previously held exclusive third-party broadcast rights for an assortment of Blizzard esport competitions, including the first 2 seasons of Overwatch League. Activision Blizzard has also worked closely with Amazon Web Services in the past for its cloud services, even presenting at the AWS reInvent 2018 conference about that partnership. Responding to the news, CEO of streaming production platform and tracking firm Stream Elements Doronir or something suggested the deal could be a more effective approach to exclusivity in the streaming space than securing deals with high-profile influencers like Ninja or Shroud. A lot of the focus in the live streaming wars has been on the individual content creators being signed, given that they make up the majority of the content in the space, Nia said. However, esports events are often responsible for the biggest audiences, with the 2 most watched channels on Twitch in 2019 being Riot Games and Overwatch League. This makes YouTube Gaming's announcement of 3 notable leagues a significant move in terms of building their content portfolio and showcasing their commitment to the market. Wow.
So, for me, this is massive news. YouTube are putting a stance out there against Twitch, because I've watched near enough all of my esports coverage is being sent over to Twitch. So I watched all of my esports stuff on Twitch. The fact that YouTube are now getting involved in this is absolutely massive.
That is big. When you think about it, it's like the 2 biggest companies in the world going head to head here, Amazon and Google.
Yeah. So I would love to see the stats and the viewing figures between how long people watch stuff for on YouTube compared to Twitch, because I'm pretty sure YouTube will always win that. And the fact that they're taking some of the biggest esports games in the world and putting them on their platform just kind of weakens Twitch. I don't even think slightly, I think by quite a lot. Considering most people watch Twitch for their esports content, not just the content creators, because obviously there are content creators on YouTube as well that a lot of people watch.
Yeah.
But if I was to watch a live content creator, it is going to be Twitch. I don't even watch anyone on Mixer, and that annoys me a little bit, because I just miss watching Shroud. It's my choice not to go over to Mixer, because I completely forget about it 9 times out of 10. When I boot my PC up, Twitch automatically I've got the launcher, so it comes up. I end up watching my programs on there.
Yeah, I do.
But when it comes to esports coverage, pretty much it's just all on Twitch. But the fact that the Call of Duty League is now going to be on YouTube, Overwatch, again, they've had 2 seasons, but the 3rd one is going to be on YouTube now. They're massive, massive coups for YouTube. And I've obviously paid, I don't think it mentions in this article anywhere how much they've had to pay for the rights for it. I can't imagine it being a very small amount of change.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be pretty massive. I mean, these are big games as well.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain when I watched the COD World Finals, there was like 250. I mean, Connor watches Call of Duty a lot more than I do, but I'm sure when I was watching it, there was like 250,000 people watching the COD World Finals, and that was only a few months ago. So that's a lot of people just signing into Twitch to watch it. YouTube is a lot more accessible and on a lot more things than Twitch is. Like, I can't watch Twitch on my Nintendo Switch.
Sure.
But you can watch YouTube on it.
Yeah.
So again, it's just a massive dub for them. Again, I can't imagine it costing pocket change. It's going to be a lot of. Is it going to be a worthy investment for them? We'll see.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, obviously we work with Pez, so we end up going back to this example a lot. But we have sort of streamed esports stuff ourselves on like Twitch and YouTube in the past. But I've noticed this time around it's YouTube and Facebook that they're doing. Not Twitch, and partially that's because they've ditched the Pez League sort of brand, which is the Twitch channel was a Pez League Twitch. But it's interesting that, you know, if Pez is going to focus on YouTube, for instance, that might be one of many that end up kind of going to YouTube more. I don't know. It's just interesting that YouTube as a platform might be fighting back. And that would partially be down to what YouTube do and what Google do, but I suppose it might also be like just if a few big names end up going to YouTube, then everyone's going to go to YouTube, if you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, these are 2 of the biggest esports in the world with Call of Duty and Overwatch. Hearthstone as well is absolutely massive. Yeah. All they're lacking now is Dota and League of Legends, and then they've cleaned up. Like, the big 5 esports in the world are going to be over on YouTube. I don't know where this is. I can't see where it's going to be in the next I can't even see what it's going to be in the next 12 months, never mind further down the line. Esports is only going to get bigger, especially with the likes of Sky Sports wanting to get involved in esports, having the E-Premier League being placed front and centre on their Sky Sports broadcasts on Sky and on their websites. The more people get involved in it, the more money that they're going to generate. I think at this point, get involved with it now, it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, I think so. The thing is, like, I prefer Twitch to YouTube personally in terms of like a watching experience. I always get a bit annoyed like when like content creators stream on YouTube and like, oh, can't you just like do it on Twitch because it's all there? It's almost a bit like the Steam argument. I've got it all in one place or whatever. But at the same time, I can't help but sort of admit like YouTube is a more flexible sort of platform for the reasons you said, but also like obviously Twitch isn't really about hosting sort of long-term sort of stuff at all, whereas YouTube, you can get people on your channel to like watch live stuff, but then also, hey, stick around and watch our actual permanent videos and that. For
me, the mentality is that Twitch is basically made for the older audience. Like, you're going to get people probably between 16 and upwards of 16, I'll say, but YouTube is pretty much like my 4-year-old nephew. So when I walk in the house, he's got the iPad out and he's just watching kids unbox stuff. So YouTube is accessible to that. And I've literally just seen Connor's comment saying that he missed out CSGO. And that is an absolute travesty because the amount of time that I've watched... CSGO is probably the biggest esport that I watch. Like, the most hours that I've put in watching CSGO, and I completely missed it. But Fatman Day says, I thought YouTube gaming closed down last year, shows how much I used it for live streams. I had a YouTube gaming account at one point and I never used it. I just used Twitch. Like, if I was going to stream, it was always going to be on Twitch. But yeah, CSGO obviously as well. I made a joke to you. I'm very interested to see, because obviously we, especially a lot of people in this office, live and breathe esports because of the jobs that we're in and what we're interested in watching. I can't wait for the next 12 months because not only are we going to have the new consoles and things like that, we're going to have more esports coming out. More people are getting involved in it now, so more and more games are becoming esports worthy.
Yeah, definitely.
So
there's just a lot of, let's face it, a lot of people realise a lot of money is in esports, and these big companies suddenly are like, all right, yeah, let's have some of that.
Absolutely. So that is pretty much all the news that we've got today. Again, it's Monday, so I wanted to scrape the barrel of stuff that came out late on Friday to be able to be included in this show today. Because in the morning I end up pulling the news articles that we're going to be talking about, and on a Monday there's basically nothing that goes on over the weekend.
It's more rumours and stuff, isn't it, for this show this time? But there's some pretty good rumours. I mean, if they end up being true, then those rumours will be very good news stories indeed.
Again, what better year for them to be able to either reboot series or bring out brand new IPs than this year with the new consoles coming out. The fact that they're going to be backwards compatible and you're able to play PS4 and Xbox One games on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's have some of that.
Definitely.
But anyway, we're going to close the show for today. This is The Scoop. We go live 5 days a week in the morning at 10 a.m. over on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. This show then goes live on YouTube an hour later and then onto podcast services around about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So anyway, if you're on your way home from work and you're on your commute, feel free to slap it on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and
I was
Google Play.
To which one you didn't say. Yes, Google Play.
No, I was trying to figure out what I said because no one listens to it on Google Play. I mean, does anyone even buy anything off Google Play anymore? I mean, I might as well at this point make a MySpace page and a Bebo page for them at the same time. But yeah, there they are, the podcast services that you can digest this on your commute home from work. We will be going live at 10 a.m. again tomorrow because it's Tuesday and we like to give you more content over on the Ice Cream Uploads Twitch channel. Is there anything else that you want to round this show off with today?
Not really, no. Yeah, just no.
No, okay. All right, just kind of we had a mid blue screen there.
Yeah, as usual.
But as usual, if you do see anything knocking around the video game hemisphere, do feel free to contact us, tag us in there, forward it to us, just reply to me. If you want to email me, but you have to find my email address because I ain't sharing that with you. But it's at Ice Cream Uploads, at We've Got With Bino, at Graham_Day, and at Jeroen. Do you want to spell it out for people who are not sure?
Jearoon.
Hey.
All together now, Jearoon.
And on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, do have the rest of a good Monday, because I don't know where I was going with that. But don't forget, most importantly, stay frosty.